This is the Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live. I'm coming at you live today in front of the Great Chef Show's kitchen, actually. But I'm using this room because it has the best lighting in the house, and hopefully there won't be too much glare. The last video I did that was comic book video was me and my son. We were showing off what we received, what my son, Little Legend, received from Ape Entertainment's very own Brent Irwin. And like I said, he had a great time, but there was some stuff I didn't get to show you because I knew that video would run long. So I haven't unpacked all those comics yet that I got from mycomicshop.com, aka Lone Star Comics, but I finally had the chance to meet someone I've been hearing a lot about. Let me tell you something, fans. Everyone in the comic book community, all the big names in the comic book community, I can't name them all, but you know exactly who you are. Any one of you that has ever heard of this character. And I finally got a chance, the Great Legend finally got a chance to meet the last boy on Earth, Kamandi. I got to meet Kamandi, and it was a great experience. I'm glad I listened to all you on YouTube, and I usually always do listen to a lot of you in the comic book community because pretty much all of you are passionate about comic book collecting, and I love that. I love watching a video where I see a great community like the comic book community on YouTube and just be so passionate about what they get, you know, their weekly pulls, what they pick up on Wednesdays. It's just really cool and it's really special. It's pretty awesome. But let me show you some Kamandi, and I've already read these and I'll tell you a little bit about them. This is the first Kamandi. It's Kamandi #1, the last boy on Earth. Awesome book, brand new. It's first DC issue, and a sensational DC Jack Kirby blockbuster. So Jack Kirby does the art and the story for this. It is excellent. I have never read anything like this. You know, growing up it was always Fantastic Four, it was some Marvel stuff, just a little bit of DC, but this was excellent. And gotta kind of wipe it off with my shirt, people, because these mylights too, man, they're like anti-static, so they'll pick up little cat hairs, and we don't want cat hairs on Kamandi because Kamandi don't play too well with them tigers. But anyways, this was Kamandi. This is post-apocalyptic, after some kind of nuclear phenomenon that just made Earth go crazy. And of course you see the Statue of Liberty in the background. This is the New York area. Story starts out, Kamandi's out, you know, exploring the land around his little base or whatnot. He goes back to the base where his grandpa lives. He hears an explosion, goes in there. He finds his grandpa lying on the ground, and there's some pillagers, some thieves in there. And I can't even remember if they were, I think they were panthers, perhaps. Maybe panthers or leopards. I cannot remember, but they were getting into Kamandi's stuff, so he, you know, had to deal with them. And then he was on the run and all this stuff. He ran into the panthers. He ran into some tigers, and the leader of the tigers was Caesar. Really cool. And then a lot of you already know this, and I don't want to give this away to many of the people that haven't read this, but he meets a lot of weird people. His grandfather taught him, you know, what humanity used to be, but when he left his little base and started exploring, he had seen what humanity had become. And if you've ever seen the movie Planet of the Apes, something kind of similar, but I actually prefer this over Planet of the Apes. But a lot of the animals now are walking on the back two legs. They're walking. They're mutated per se to look like animal people. So Kamandi here runs into, I think it's the leopards in the first part of the tigers. And so this is Kamandi. Golly, I just love this book. And then he meets some in this issue. Well, actually, yeah, I think at the very end of this issue he meets another guy named Ben Baxter, I think that was his name. If it's Ben Baxter, that's totally... If that was his name, mainly he just calls him Ben, but Ben Baxter sounds kind of like Ben Grimm in the Baxter Building, which was also drawn by Jack Kirby, so I'm not really sure. But the faces just look like classic Jack Kirby. Really good art in there. So that's number one. This is graded at 9.4. This is 9.4. MyComicShop.com graded this when I bought it from them. 9.4 on that one. I have Kamandi number 2 right here. All of these are in My Lights 2 with the fullbacks. Kamandi number 2, as you can see, this guy's kind of like a rat-looking guy. Just always trying to get into something. I like it because it's called The Year of the Rat. And this was a good one because they, came upon these rat people and they were causing strife and havoc. I read this one last night. This is their big, what was that thing called? Zeppelin kind of plane or whatever. And that was pretty cool. So that's Kamandi issue 2. And I don't want to give too much of the storyline away. But Kamandi met these 3 guys they were physicists and they have nuclear powers themselves, where if they push down or put pressure on their chest plate, they turn into these metal guys, kind of like Colossus in X-Men. But yeah, it's Kamandi issue 2. This is a very fine denier mint. This is a 9.0 grade. Kamandi. I got Kamandi number 3. It's his first experience with the gorillas. Him and his 3 buddies make their way to Nevada, Las Vegas area, and they come upon a gorilla tribe, so the gorilla monsters. So there's a lot of like different animal monsters. This main guy here, I already forgot his name. I think it was like Chaka or something like that. But he was battling with Kamandi, and they also fought this monster, stone monster that had lightning shooting out. And what I loved about this one, let me tell you about this one. So he goes toe to toe with this big ape here, and what he does, the way he defeats him, he's thinking in his mind that his grandfather used to read him this story out of this book. And it was the story, you know what story it was? It was the story of David and Goliath. So he got this rock, big rock, wrapped it up in a little sling and like whipped it around and like threw it at him and knocked that gorilla on his ass. So I like that. And then, of course, they didn't say the book was the Bible or anything, but old Jack Kirby. And in the same issue, during the last fight where they're all in the cave together, this big ape here, he puts his hands like on the pillars, kind of like this, and he pushes the structure down, and it all just comes down, which of course is kind of like Samson, when he pushed those pillars down. This was after I think Samson was like blinded or something like that. I don't know, but anyways, that's kind of like from the Bible too. So old Jack Kirby taking it old school via the King James version probably of the Bible. I thought that was kind of cool, using references to things into this. And this was cool because it was like Nevada and stuff, or Las Vegas. And honestly, at the beginning of this, he was already in Nevada at the beginning, so it's like, all right, where's his 3 friends? But at mid-story, they pick up, like, the friends are like, well, we sent Kamandi off to look for stuff. He must have gotten lost. And then that's kind of when they find each other at the very end of this book. So I was getting nervous there. I was like, hey, where's those other 3 guys at? And that one was a 8.5, very fine plus. And then, of course, I have number 4 here, Kamandi number 4. This is an 8.0. And inside, everything is complete. No pieces missing, no holes or anything like that. All the pages are complete. This is when the Tigers come back out of nowhere. The Tiger Clan, Caesar's people, and they're attacking the gorillas, and they want to take over their land and stuff like that. So this was kind of the prelude on into that, which was really cool. And also, I think his name's Tuftkin or something like that, but Caesar has a son that gets kidnapped by the gorillas. But that's issue 4. I really like that one. That was what was my issue 4? Issue 4, this is a near mint 9.4. Yeah, near mint 9.4. Really good condition book for being 1973. Issue 1 came out, I think it was December 1972, and then of course January it was 1973. So a lot of these are 73 and up. Then we have my issue 5, which is a very fine 8.0, and right there, this one's cool because the Tigers, they do take control of a little bit of the gorilla place, and they throw Kamandi in there because this time Caesar's getting mad at Kamandi because Kamandi's been a thorn in his side once before. And also, but the thing is, in this story, Kamandi and Caesar's son kind of get together and they work together and form kind of a bond between one another. And this is after Kamandi blows up this big jet that they were going to use. So I really love these covers. I mean, you know, you guys in the comic book community weren't kidding. These are some good looking classic Kirby, Jack Kirby covers. And most of the Kirby stuff I've read or seen has all been reprints. These may be my first Kirby things I have in my comic book boxes. But man, they look so good in Mylar. So I got issues 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Kamandi. And one funny story, old Hippie Collectibles was telling me, you know, I asked him, I said, I may be picking me up some Kamandis pretty soon. And he was like, you got to get them all. Or he said something like, get them all and read them all at once. And I know exactly what he means, because the thing is, when I was reading these, last night I read 1 and 2, and today I read like 3, 4, and 5 back to back to back, and I was like, oh my god, this story's pretty damn good. It's actually, since I've been getting back into comics, I'm going to have to definitely say this is the best series I've read since being back, these Kamandis. All in Mylites too. Mylar for the Kamandis. You know, treat your Kamandi like you know, just treat your Kamandi like you would if Jack Kirby came over to have some of that Texas sweet tea that the great chef brewed up. But you treat them right. So we got them in Mylites too, and fullbacks. And so yeah, this is just my first meeting with the last boy on Earth. The Great Legend meets the last boy on Earth, and I'm really liking old Jack Kirby's work in here. I also like reading the letters in the back. You know, the back page, you can read what the fans, you know, they wrote in. And one fan, I swear to God, I don't know what issue this was, but he said, well, some of Jack Kirby's panels could have been better. It's like, who the hell does that little kid think he is in the back of the book writing in, well, some of Jack Kirby's panels could have been better? I was like, hell, let's see that kid do better, you know what I mean? So, you know, reading these panels, then some of these, you know, you're getting the replies back from Jack Kirby himself. Pretty cool. It kind of brings the human being out behind the master of art and writing, or penmanship, if you will. But it kind of like brings that person out and say, you know, he kind of gives his chime-ins at the very end in those letters. So if you're interested in Kamandi, watch some of these other comic book collectible collectors videos. A lot of them love some Kamandi, and so yeah, I'm glad you guys told me about this Kamandi, because it's pretty cool. This is some stuff my dad would really like to read too, so I may let him borrow them as well. Kamandi, as long as he takes care of them and leaves them in their really good condition. So I'm going to try. Actually, I'm not going to try. I am going to get the rest. You know, say maybe up to issue 12. I don't know. It all depends on what kind of moolah I need to spend. I know you can get a lot of these Kamandis on eBay, you know, reader copies, and even better on eBay. But also, you know, mycomicshop.com has them as well. And I'm trying to get where if I get, you know, I want to try to get these in 8.0 or better condition. Because usually you can find these for pretty good deal below the Overstreet price guides, you know, prices. You can get these below that. So if you have not read Kamandi, The Last Boy on Earth, DC Comics Kamandi here, Jack Kirby, probably I would probably have to say this is one of those kind of books, because I I never even heard about this until I started watching everyone else's videos. But this is one of those series that I don't even know the word, but it's one of those series where sleeper hits. That's what I'm gonna say. Like a sleeper hit. I mean, you know, that this is so good. This is so good. I mean, like, forget the Planet of the Apes movie. They should have just made some Kamandi up in there. Of course, I think Planet of the Apes came out before Kamandi. The books, anyway. I think Planet of the Apes books came out before Kamandi. But all I'm saying is, the generation today, and they do reprint these in a hardcover. I saw that on mycomicshop.com. But for you young people of today, try to find the hardcover. See if your library will order the book. You won't be disappointed when you read these. It's going to suck you right on in. So if you're a younger reader, I highly recommend these Kamandis. And thanks again, comic book community, for telling me about the Kamandi series. In the next week or two, I'm going to have some more comic book videos. I'm actually going this Wednesday to get a couple pickups. But I need to start reading. I also have a lot of New 52 that I have to read. My picks that I'm starting out with in the New 52 are, because I love Marvel, but I'm kind of like intrigued by the artwork and stuff in New 52, and I'm just a sucker for Shazam, who's in Justice League. I think he's starting in Justice League number 6, which I have all them Justice Leagues. I just have to read them. But I have Justice League, I have Action Comics, I'm going to have Superman and Batman, and Detective Comics to start reading those. Oh, and another one I picked up that looked really good and I heard good things about was All-Star Western by DC with old Jonah Hex in it. So it'll be neat. And I almost was going to pick up some of these Lone Rangers by IDW, but I didn't, because I figured, well, let me read these All-Star Westerns by DC, because I don't want to get too genre heavy in Westerns or anything like that. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of what I've been up to with the comic book collecting. We had a great Comic Talk podcast last Saturday. That was really cool. Captain Cummings and question Scott Bromstar, because I don't really know how to say Quaiston Bromstar, but old Scott Bromstar and 123 Comic Book Man were in the house, along with YouTube's very own old Oddfellow Thoughts. That was really fun getting to hang with those guys. So maybe in about a month or two, or whenever, I can come back on that show and hang out. I felt really at home with those guys, like I've known them before. Well, I've watched their videos, but you know what I mean. That's how close-knit the comic book community is there's just so many good people and so many great people to meet. Also, shout outs to Howler Mouse, because he came in at the last minute, which was pretty fun. And two of the elder statesmen that I look up to, Hippies Collectibles and Captain Strangelove. If you're watching, I really love watching y'all's videos. And Howler Mouse and Scott, great people. And a comic book mom, I'm going to start watching a lot of her videos. I mean, there's so many people. Doc and Howlett, I've been watching his videos. I've been watching so many comic book collectors. I need to watch a lot more. And you know, if I didn't do your name, and Ghost Critic, I like Ghost Critic, because Ghost Critic has some of the best reviews. And I love the accent, kind of the UK accent. Of course, I think he must be from UK. Anyways, this video is going a little bit too long. So fans, if you haven't done so, try to find the last boy on Earth, Kamandi, coming at you live. Peace out. God bless.